heavier conditions, in other words.
Ready for first set. Dimitrov to serve. Thank you.
So a place in the last 8. Dimitrov to begin. We've heard what Roger Rashid told Grigor Dimitrov. I wonder what Maria Sharapova told him. Don't you come home tonight. Superstar.
Oh. It's going to be hard to keep up that level, but it's not the level. It's more the commitment to play that kind of tennis with Dimitrov. With Dimitrov, which is it going to be?
Dimitrov?
Dimitrov.
Is that all right?
Yep.
Us Brits find it tough, you know. Roger Rashid, disciplinarian.
Wow, great points so far.
When you're blessed with such great talent, I suppose discipline does become very important, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you feel that you don't necessarily feel like you've earned the right to have a lot of talent. But once you worked really hard physically, you feel like you earned the right to win matches.
Well, slower conditions, but the court looked pretty quick in that game. It's a full house. It's not going to be as noisy as it's been on the High Sense Arena, but nothing was ever going to get anywhere near that. Kyrgios and Seppi still doing battle. Haven't had to wait too long to get started here, Murray and Dimitrov. New clothing company. He could well be under siege tonight.
It's not meant to.
Yeah, the spider cam is moving still. Doesn't want it moving while he's serving. That bothered him at the French last year. Still moving spider cam.
He is entertained, Mr. Rashid. Is that what he was looking for? I think so. That's going to be the big question for Dimitrov is how many backhands does he come over and hit topspin and how many does he slice? And maybe against Andy Murray, you hit a few more slices because you don't have to worry about him going for the next shot as much as maybe some other players.
just beaten for pace. Murray has spent this tournament up on the baseline, going very aggressive with the forehand. He's a counter-puncher by nature. It's going to be interesting with this fast start from Dimitrov, whether he does back off a little. Just to try and absorb it. Fiance courtside with physiotherapist. Travels with all the big tournaments. Murray, Mark Bender. Well, the first two games in any match don't get much better than that. Jake Garner in the chair.
There's a challenge in there for Murray, but looked long from where we're sitting.
Yeah.
It's a perfect start for Dimitrov. And, we know he's got that kind of tennis in him, of course. No matter if he can keep it up. And the question is also, I think, can Andy Murray sort of just stay with him and keep his temperament in check and pounce on Dimitrov when he comes down in level?
Just 23 years old, Dimitrov, ranked 11. Certainly coming up.
15.
Loves it too. Dimitrov loves the big stage.
I think the big stage quite attracted to him too.
Apparently. Well, Andy Murray is so good at these little shots in half court. You have to volley really well because he's going to get to it and then he can flick it with his wrist both ways, backhands and forehands.
Ball toss a bit awry there. Lucky to get away with that one. He is so pumped right now, Dimitrov.
Some of those backhands are half volleys.
Federer's agent in Dimitrov's box. Left an agency to go with Federer. Who wouldn't?
And the slice backhand for Dimitrov is not a bad shot against Andy Murray, because if there's one weakness in his game, it's that he doesn't accelerate as much power on his own, Murray. He sort of needs help from the ball coming at him. Djokovic has a faster racket head. Nadal has a faster racket head.
Well, a dream start continues for Dimitrov. 3-love in 10 minutes.
Thank you. Seats, please.
Super evening. He's not been tested in the tournament yet, Murray. And after 3 games, he knows he's in for one tonight. Dignitaries a little late to the seat. It's a super mix from Dimitrov. He's totally in control of this at the moment.
Yeah, such a good play. He was gonna come to the net on one of the slice backhands he hit before this drop shot, and then he throws in the drop shot. So fully there, fully engaged. And Murray hasn't started badly.
No. Is it possible to start too well?
Definitely.
Still worried about Spider Cam. He looks pretty hot and bothered already. There's Matt Little, the trainer, Amelie Mauresmo alongside. Can't be a fitter player or a stronger player than Murray.
No, it would be nerves maybe, make you sweat early in a match, but he's having to work really hard.
Well, the second serve's always been a talking point of Murray. That was hammered away.
30 over.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have the kick spin in his serve, Murray, when he tries to get it out to his opponent's backhand.
Yeah, he needs a come on.
40, 30.
Yeah, it's a marathon, though, for Murray. I don't think he would be too worried. He knows these players so well. He knows Dimitrov is playing above his level right now.
Close, challenged immediately.
Dimitrov is walking already. Well done, Dimitrov. He also knew that he didn't have a play on the serve, even though the call was there. Call came after.
He's thinking of Spider Cam on the ball toss, I think. He's looking up straight away when he's aborted it.
First serve.
Murray on the scoreboard.
Dimitrov leads 3-1.
Again, realize how fun it is to watch a tennis match when there's a contrast of styles and contrast of behavior as well. Demeanor on the court, Murray very reserved, Dimitrov quite outgoing. That's why Dimitrov is such a hope on the men's side in tennis, because he could possibly fill the void that's going to be left after Roger Federer.
Clever from Murray.
Look at it.
Never miss those on the backhand volley.
Hardest shot in tennis for a pro is the high forehand volley. If you decide to hit it the old-fashioned way, sometimes they decide to hit it, drive it, hit it with topspin today. It's most probably easier.
Wait.
It's frightening how early Dimitrov is taking the ball.
That coaching tip Roger Rashid gave him, stroke of genius, I think. Entertain me. That's a great point by Dimitrov. Took a little pace off of that forehand cross-court. Can't just go full out the whole time either, even though he must be feeling very confident right now.
It's a brilliant point. The improvement in his fitness and movement is noticeable under Rashid. All that canoeing he's been doing. Against the tide.
That's where Murray is now.
Oh, wow! Even a smile from Dimitrov.
30-40.
Beautiful shot. Such good hands, Andy Murray. A little flick with the left hand.
Murray breaks back. He's withstood the barrage. 2-3. First set. Terrific effort from Murray to absorb everything that's been thrown at him. Back on level terms on serve, 2-3. Where does Dimitrov go from here?
It's a different Murray, that's for sure. After that start by Dimitrov, Murray was very calm through the whole thing, weathered the storm. Momentum with Murray suddenly, even though Dimitrov hasn't even... He's like, hold on, I haven't let you take the momentum away from me.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
30-15.
It's a perfect point by both players, really.
Racket hitting the ground to help stun the ball.
Wow.
This is brutal tennis.
This is yet another level. Novak Djokovic and Fernando Verdasco had a brilliant first set last night, but this is at least as good as that.
Balance is amazing. Core strength, phenomenal.
There's a few birds up there as well.
Yes. Yeah, it's dinner time. Oh, the aces are just flowing. 3 in the game, 3 all in the score. Is that all you've got, Grigor? He loves it, Murray, doesn't he? The whole chess aspect of tennis.
Yeah, definitely. Playing chess at about 208 kilometers an hour. Every shot about the 200-kilometer mark. So fun.
Dimitrov looks like he's wearing indoor shoes.
Is that with no...
Yeah, they don't grip at all. You mentioned how shiny the courts are, virtually no sand in the paint, hence the speed of the courts this year. So many sliding these days on hard, particularly these ones.
Well, there is indoor shoes, sort of like a Formula One tire, where there is it's better grip if there is no tread on them at all, no pattern. I think Novak Djokovic plays in full-on clay court shoes. It's got the fishbone pattern. Roger Rashid also was talking about Grigor Dimitrov have switched rackets, same brand, same company, but gone to a little bigger frame. And they started actually at the Bercy Paris indoor tournament, where he lost to Murray 6-3, 6-3, so he discarded that loss. And he said that Dimitrov is just getting used to this one. shocked, that reaction.
Winning Wimbledon is completely out of his system, isn't it? It's taken a while. Important game that for Dimitrov to come through. It's his scoreboard ticking again. 4-3. New balls in play. Murray 3-4, first set after half an hour. He's not backed off, Murray, has he? He's still up on that baseline.
He's kept very calm and still quite aggressive. Hard to say if he was aggressive in the beginning, because Dimitrov was probably more aggressive in the beginning than he is now. Wow. So clean. That's a good feeling for Murray when his forehand is working, when he can hit it clean and hard. A little bit of topspin. This one is perfect.
And he's done it all tournament. He's had a lot of practice. Love game, good header. That's a memento for tomorrow morning. Count to 10. That would have hurt. He's only had to hit 4 serves. Second serves, Murray, in the match so far. He's only won 1 of them. That first serve consistency, terrific.
Yeah, if he can keep his percentage up around 70–75% for the match, he'd be great, but right now he's at 82%. Oish. Murray may be tentative in that rally, but still, what a great shot by Dimitrov. That loopy forehand dealt with. And that's what Murray has to get to, I think. If he can get sort of a slow-moving ball into Dimitrov's backhand, he can't do anything there, Dimitrov, and he tends to sort of try and overhit a little bit. But, of course, the danger is if he's quick enough to get around it and hit a forehand, you're in trouble. Wow, he's moving well, Murray.
Leon Smith, Davis Cup captain there in the middle of picture. Britain have got a Davis Cup first round world group at home in Glasgow against the Americans in March. Second year in a row we played them. Murray's vowed to play. Missed it. Boy, if Dimitrov doesn't win this set after the start he's made, how damaging is that going to be? Break point Murray. I'd never believe he was shy off the court, would you?
Bolts.
Such an early return.
That's just a dangerous place to serve to Murray. Because if he wants to, he can accelerate through that shot, and it's hard to see that he's going to do it because he just flicks it a little extra with his left hand. Hits the ball in the middle of the racket nearly every time off of the backhand side. Of course, most players are not used to hitting second serves to their opponent's forehand if they're playing a right-hander.
Superb aggressive tennis from Murray after a wonderful return to get into the point. He breaks from love 3 down. Murray is going to serve for the opening set. Well, this is some turnaround. Murray serving for the opening set. 5-4. Yeah, it was an anxious look to Rashid.
It's important that he doesn't do that, I think, for his relationship with his coach as well, but also not show Andy Murray that he's looking up into his coach's corner. Dimitrov going to solve these problems by himself.
It's the first serve he's missed for about 15-20 minutes.
What a surprising play by Dimitrov.
72-mile-an-hour second serve. That's got to change, hasn't it? Wow.
Yeah, that sat up as well for Dimitrov.
Two set points now. Just the one required. Love 3 down. Punched above his weight, Dimitrov, for the first 3 games, but he's not come away with the opening set. Terrific stuff from Murray. So Dimitrov having to regroup, start of the second set. Your thoughts, Matt,
Yeah,
for him particularly?
Yeah, the question is, what does he do from here? You got to obviously play at the same level, got to execute at the same level. Does he change anything tactically? More first serves in play, hoping for 3 points. That's the first. Yeah, coming forwards though has to be the right way for him to go, because he has to make Andy worry about Dimitrov coming to the nets, and therefore Andy will suddenly start pressing a little bit, maybe start missing, maybe going for a little bit too much, but fine margins here from now on.
Oh my goodness me. How did he get out of that one? That's amazing.
15 all.
What a shot. The anticipation and the lob. He is quicker than before, that's for sure, Murray.
Must have felt good off the racket for that reaction from Murray.
30-15. $40-15.
It's going to start to be a little frustrating here for Dimitrov. Murray's playing great.
So Dimitrov, 1-love, second set.
First game, second set.
Now, Tim, how's the mayhem going on the Hisense Arena?
I think mayhem is the operative word, Chris. It's a remarkable match now. It was 2 sets to the good for Seppi. He had a match point in the 4th set, whereas Kyrgios somehow came through that tie break. He got it back to 2 sets all, and look at this now. He has the break of serve in the final set. From 2 sets down, the 19-year-old made the quarterfinals at Wimbledon last year. He beat Seppi in the US Open in straight sets last year, and it looks like he might be on his way to a 5-set triumph. Still got to serve it out, of course. Seppi's about to hold serve, it seems, at 4-2. Remarkable match on the Hisense. They are going bonkers there, Chris. He could face Andy Murray if he beats Dimitrov. Back to you.
Yes, thanks, Tim. Kyrgios, one of the best things to happen for tennis in recent times. He's a bit like Vegemite. Cocky or confident, but he makes you have an opinion.
I think this is going to be key for Andy Murray, if he can keep up his percentage. Between 75 and 80% of first serves, and he can't go for all of them. He can't go for aces, because then he's going to start missing. He'll try and avoid hitting second serves. He's not going to improve his second serve during this match. Just manage his first serve. Like that.
30-15.
Well played. Electric.
So fun to watch Dimitrov.
30 all.
Full flight here. I always liken him to Roger Federer. Of course, baby Fed. I promise you I'm never going to say that again about him, but but he's more energetic, more flashy.
Close again.
And that's the choice Dimitrov has to make. Is he going to hit it and come in after it, or maybe don't take it quite as early and get a full swing in, because that was sort of a half bunted forehand and he was going to come in after. This is a great forehand.
Makes it look so easy, doesn't he? Serve's doing some damage, isn't it?
That's an excellent serve, 156 kilometers an hour, and that's the reason it's slid out so much. It was able to be that short because of the lack of speed.
Much better second serve. Levels up, second set. Stood by Amelie Mauresmo as Andy Murray with all the sort of, is it right, is it good?
Everyone has an opinion, of course.
He loves proving people wrong, Murray, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's a great motivator.
Of course, most people have no clue at all if she's good or bad for Andy Murray.
I mean, the logic is it's good because Judy Murray, his mother, coached him for donkey's years. She knows him better than anybody. She's still always there, obviously.
She hasn't won 2 Grand Slam titles, though, so I wouldn't put her in the same category as Amelie Mauresmo, and I don't think it has anything to do with a woman.
Amazing how you can have the vision of being off balance, but let's make this awkward. And then the ability to do it.
He really does have it all when it comes to defense, Murray. Got the speed, he's got flexibility, strength, and he also has the hands, the anticipation. a rare combination.
Way inside the baseline.
That's a very difficult shot to hit, even though it's over the lowest part of the net, but to get enough power in it for a clean winner. That's well played, Dimitrov. Get a sense, though, that Murray is starting to read Dimitrov a little bit in the baseline rallies. It seems that he's anticipating where Dimitrov is going. He's starting to read Murray's game as well, because he went too soon, anticipated that Murray was coming there with his forehand. Couldn't get out of the way.
Breaks through again, Murray. Set 2-1 now. Yes, they've all got their own fan clubs here, the players. It's a wonderful atmosphere for all nationalities. Great tournament, record crowds, wonderful stories. Been one of the best starts to a major for years. Should rename it the Delirious Major, not the happy one. Murray setting 2-1.
That's a better return by Dimitrov. Stayed back a little bit, waited for the ball to come to him, and then he can get a full swing in. Of course, going to have to mix it up there. Sometimes take the return early. Anything to put Murray off when it comes to Murray's second serve.
.207 out wide. 129 miles per hour.
He's so quick, Murray, but that's bad luck for Dimitrov, actually. All the players would have made it up to that and be able to flick it the way Murray does here, but
Interesting, he has backed off a little, Murray. It's giving Dimitrov a little more time to play.
30 over.
Yeah, sort of waiting for Dimitrov to do something, and then he would respond, but it's a very dangerous path to take for Murray right now.
He's sort of going across the baseline, isn't he, Dimitrov? There's no forwards and across, trying to narrow the angle.
You're right.
Extends the lead, Murray. Serving really well.
Very smart serving from Murray. Hasn't always been the case in the past. He's sometimes gone for a little too much, I think. He's gone for the flat one. Maybe thinking his second serve is better than it actually is. But I think players are onto the fact that his second serve is really one of the weakest second serves certainly in the top layer of the players in the world. If he can manage it the way he's doing now, then it is still a weapon, the first serve, or the serve in general. Really good attitude tonight, Murray. Very positive. Could have been frustrated early on in that first set.
Yeah, well, he did 360 degrees. He tied himself in a bit of a knot. The recovery footwork, having moved wide, is phenomenal. Gaps must be appearing on court for a split second.
Yeah, for both players, I would think. For all the players these days, so many players move extremely well.
Love game. It's a welcome for Dimitrov. Stays in touch on the scoreboard, but up against it. Murray is set in 3-2. Set in 3-2, Murray. Hour and 4 minutes. No way. How can you read it that well? I mean, a drop shot him is pointless too. You could put your hands around his waist and he'd still get there.
Unbelievable. Well, this is... Dimitrov obviously needs to do better with that, but it's not easy. You're going to pick one side, and Murray picks one side, and if Murray picks the right side, and you got good hands, you win the point.
15.
Just opens the door here a little, though, that double. Went back to the second serve down the middle. Punished again. 2 break-back points. No. Oh, wow! Can you smell the rubber?
The point of the tournament, I have to tell you. And just about now the lactic acid sets in, but here comes Dimitrov. And it was a good shot, the last one too. Mari had to stretch for it.
Breaks back. Jeannie Bouchard through to the quarterfinals again. That's where it all started for her last year. Eating under the stars tonight.
Not sure she's hinting to anything, but she's up against the star in Maria Sharapova. It's going to have to play a lot better than she did today. Jeannie Bouchard to have any kind of chance.
New balls, 3-all, second set. Oh. Virtually no backswing.
The level's gone up here, the intensity has gone up. The question is, when Dimitrov plays like that, how strong is he physically? And if he can last physically, how strong is he mentally and emotionally? Because it's tiring to get that pumped up for anything.
Their bodies are really being pushed. got him this time.
That's a beautiful point by Dimitrov. Great hands, very gutsy play, and 3-3-50 in all. If he misses it, of course, we would call it too risky of a play. You just can't hit a second serve to that side. You've got to try and go to his forehand. Plus, that's a slow second serve for Dimitrov standards, 128 kilometers.
Yeah, he's 7 from 18 behind his second serve. They're both being punished.
It's important for both players to keep that up, punishing each other's second serves. This great stuff by Dimitrov, I have to say. I didn't really expect him to really come back in this match after he's done a set in the break. He's back.
Murray telling himself to be aggressive. Obliges.
Well, no player is a better coach than themselves. Yes. Anyone else can tell you anything, but if you don't believe in it, doesn't mean a thing.
Shocking, he said. Just brilliant how he got into that point initially, Murray, and then started to work Dimitrov over.
Give.
Yes, there's excitement everywhere. Well, news is just coming through here. Kyrgios has come from 2 sets behind to win. That's why they're cheering here on the Rod Laver Arena. 8-6 in the third. The teenager is through to the quarterfinals, plays the winner of this match.
Please.
Amazing scenes on the Hisense Arena. Stalling play on the Rod Laver Arena. Not stalling Dimitrov, though.
Now, obviously, Andy Murray and Grigor Dimitrov must know what just happened, because everybody here is on their phone or tablet or however they found out, but about 90% of the crowd started clapping for no reason at all. Never seen anything like that.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, it's huge for Australian tennis, for the Australian Open. It's created record crowds. The Australians have had a great Open. It's their best for over a decade, but with Kyrgios coming through, it's about to get a whole lot better.
And suddenly this match becomes very, very interesting to everyone in the grounds, because, of course, this is Nick Kyrgios' next opponent.
And they'll have no choice but to put him on Rod Laver Arena for the quarter-final.
Yeah, I wonder what that was about. I think maybe they thought that Andreas Seppi felt too comfortable on the Rod Laver Arena and therefore put him out on Hisense, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just wonder why Nick Kyrgios wouldn't have had one single match on Rod Laver Arena before he gets to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And he hasn't now. But I'm not sure anything makes any difference to Nick Kyrgios. Anyway, great win.
Dimitrov turning this around like Murray turned around the first set. He leads 4-3. Well, again, that sit down. Amazing scenes. Tim, here's the match point.
Remarkable match, Chris, it really was. Nick Kyrgios seemingly coasting through the final set, got broken to love by Seppi, and then it was dramatic stuff. But then Seppi wilted in this final game. 3 match points, bit of a controversial one, actually. Crowd cheering, neither player hearing the call. And then the line judge, you can see, calling it out. And Hawkeye revealing that it did just sneak out. So Kyrgios coming through in 5 sets. He was 2 sets down. This is from a 19-year-old who before the start of this tournament said, don't expect too much of me here. I'm recovering from a back injury. Well, he's got through 5 sets today. He could face Murray, he could face Dimitrov. And after that, a controversial end to the match. The ball did go out, to be fair. I think it was just the crowd roars that put everybody off. There we are, more roars for good measure. And Kyrgios is through to his second quarter-final. Not bad for a 19-year-old in the Hisense Arena. We get back to the Rod Laver Arena for the final match between Dimitrov and Murray. It's back on serve in the second set, Chris, but scenes of absolute jubilation around Melbourne today.
Oh, I think that was in. 3 good first serves in for Murray in this game.
Dimitrov has 2 touches.
Love game for Murray, just to stabilise.
Now back to serving better, playing a little more aggressively again, Murray.
Just quickly back on that Kyrgios thing as well. Hisense is not ticketed this year. It's first come, first serve. It's like when it rains at Wimbledon, once in 100 years, you get a Monday final. You get the people coming in first. It's a different atmosphere. He'd probably prefer to play his next match on Hisense again.
Yeah, I think the average age is way younger there than it will be in here, the Rod Laver Arena. So many teenagers on the grounds as well that if you line up, you can get a seat at Hisense Arena all tournament. Brilliant. And if you don't get a seat, you go out and listen to a band.
Under pressure again, Dimitrov can afford no slip-up.
That's really well played by Dimitrov.
15-10.
So good. That's so secure.
Return. It starts with a return, really, by Andy Murray. So strong. And then, of course, that forehand is brilliant. He could have really hurt Dimitrov with that backhand the first one. I think he didn't want to. Still went at Dimitrov. There's the sorry.
2 more break points.
Net first. Oh! 30-40. Please. Deuce.
Again, Murray's attitude after the errors, terrific.
Murray's just in the ball on the right face.
Well, that could have skidded through the line, but then again, usually when they skid through the line, the players are late. Murray happened to be early on that, missed it cross court. That would tell me that it could possibly be a little bit long, but is it a desperate challenge, maybe? It was more out than in. Maybe that's why it's slowed down a bit.
Oof. Oh, lucky. Well, the pace they're playing at, how can you sit on the ground and still nearly win the point?
Oh, what a recovery by Dimitrov.
It's unbelievable. Wow.
A bit disappointed with that. Murray tried to go after it, but not really, because he was going back down the middle of the court.
A feeling that Murray doesn't feel threatened by Dimitrov's backhand. Occasionally, yes, but overall...
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that Dimitrov has to really mix it up. give Murray some sort of dead balls. Murray has to generate all the power himself.
Forehand can certainly whip up a frenzy of trouble. Had his chances in that game, Murray, but Dimitrov comes through it. Leads 5-4, second set. Much to admire in this fourth round.
Excellent tennis. The standard is really, really, really high. I think
Seats, please. Thank you.
it's the match where both players have played at the highest level, maybe in the tournament.
Especially behind the players. Thank you.
Fernando Verdasco and Novak Djokovic had a really high level, but maybe only for the first set.
Thank you.
Now, Nick Kyrgios is quick on the tweet about Dimitrov or Murray. Says, well, they're both great players. You just mentioned it. It's going to be tough for Kyrgios not to have a letdown some point.
Yeah, it'll be very tough. Plus, he hasn't played in Rod Laver Arena. Atmosphere will be slightly different, although I'm sure even the older folks can get it going.
Yeah. Maybe they'll give the tickets to their kids. Go on, go and enjoy yourselves. Close. Ooh, just a look.
30-15.
Murray doing most of the dictating in those rallies now. Suddenly, Dimitrov's working so hard. That's something that this man has to deal with, I think, because I don't know if you can be that physically this strong and, I mean, work this hard and be strong enough physically to be able to last through a 2-week tournament. 3 out of 5 sets, 7 matches. Andy Murray much more efficient in his movement. Big difference.
Please. Thank you.
Solid game.
After losing the first point, no panic at all. Needs to break here, though, Murray, to feel secure, because you don't want to go into a tiebreaker with somebody as dangerous as Dimitrov. Can easily pull off 4 or 5 points in a row where you can't really do anything about it.
Again, the speed of Murray. He had to sort of run in a half circle to get that up. And then he made it so awkward.
The strength to turn and come back.
.6'3", they both are. Still couldn't get there, really. This is magnificent. This is Murray at his very, very best.
He's so good in that backhand corner. Once you're here, he's got the point one, but of course he's going to go to his favorite shot, the cross-court forehand, but that flick backhand set the point up. Just so calm.
Yeah.
So good to see.
Chances again for Murray to get the break. Further frustration, Dimitrov.
I'm quite impressed with him, though, Dimitrov. It's another level of tennis that he hasn't seen too often in his young career.
Again, just makes it so unbelievably awkward. Too much for Dimitrov to handle. Murray does break. He'll serve for a 2-set lead.
Murray leads 6 games so far.
This is so impressive. Serving for a 2-set lead. Murray Dimitrov has never come from 2 sets behind to win. He's ready for that serve now, isn't he, Dimitrov?
Yeah, he might have cut the angle. I've taken your advice there, Chris.
Strange choice, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a very strange choice, because that was a perfect spot for Andy Murray to hit a forehand. We didn't see it there, but you can't back yourself making a passing shot if the drop shot is bad. That's strange.
Wants that winning ball back. Has always been a habit.
Just wants to take a look at it, I guess. He might just throw it away now.
Making his move again, Dimitrov.
Another excellent forehand return by Dimitrov. Open up that point. Starting to read Murray's serve in both service boxes now.
Lifeline points, second set. A little miss hit, adding to the angle from Murray, but the intent was there. It's almost as long a slide as on a clay court.
He was there for the taking. A bit tentative through the moment of impact there, Dimitrov. Kind of decided not to go full out suddenly. He was there. He made the move to hit a forehand. So he just floated on him. Murray was lucky.
Persisting. Wise to it this time.
And he gets rewarded for being the aggressor here, Dimitrov. Murray playing it a little bit too safe.
Yeah, fight is the demand. What this time? Maybe the threat of him running around enough to encourage the double fault.
6 against 12.
They both played one breaker in the tournament. Dimitrov lost his 12-10 to Lucas Latsko, Slovakian, and Murray, he won his in the opening round of the match with it against the Indian Banbury, 7-3. This is a big one.
Well, it's huge for Dimitrov. A must for Dimitrov, you think? Deserves to lose that point, though. That's with a very defensive and short second serve into Murray's backhand. Murray was defensive himself, tentative.
Is that him? Great curveball. Has it caught the line?
Way out. Should have been an overrule.
Too good. Wow.
That's how he started this match, Dimitrov, and he's come back after an hour and 45 minutes.
Probably the shortest second serve of the match at the start of that point. Murray's first serve is so important now.
2-1. Murray.
It's well done. Should never missed that slice backhand down the line at such a big point. Dimitrov lost his focus a little bit, overplayed it, and to come back with a big serve, impressive. Well played by Dimitrov, but certainly Murray, when you have a sitter like that, you have to drive the backhand as a passing shot. It's just too risky right now, because a bad lob will lose the point 10 times out of 10 against somebody like Dimitrov.
Please.
Tentative Murray there, but what a pass! They're out of their feet here.
4-2. Dimitrov.
Amazing point. That was a great drop shot by Murray. I mean, the timing of that choice is strange. Should have done much more with that. Beautiful backhand pass. Curled it in. Or if Murray couldn't reach that overhead, but he had the wrong grip anyway, so he'd always go to an overhead grip. He is entertained, that fan.
Yes.
He'll come back for more.
This is inspirational from Dimitrov. He's onto the serve. He's dominating this tiebreak.
So good. Nice approach shot. Great backhand volley, stretch, stab. He's just all over the place with his feet, though.
Hadn't been tested properly before tonight. Three set points for Dimitrov to level the match.
6-4.
I think his head is spinning right now, Murray. What kind of choice, what kind of first serve is he going to go for?
Just went for even extra width.
6-5.
2 set points saved. That gum has lost its flavour. It's 1 set all after an hour and 50 minutes. He deserves nothing less, Dimitrov. Highlights have just finished of the second set. They won exactly the same number of points each. It was a very tight set. Murray, Matt, feels he should be 2 sets up.
Well, I mean, it most probably feels like he should have been at the level he was playing at, but he certainly went down a little bit in level. He made a couple of strange choices. We remember that backhand that he went for a topspin lob rather than drive the passing shot. That sends a signal to your opponent that you're a bit tentative. And it was in the tiebreaker as well. And then he followed it up with a drop shot a couple of points later. And strange time to hit a drop shot again in the tiebreaker. Could he have done more with the overhead? But it's enough to send a signal to his opponent. Question is, Dimitrov, does he have it physically to withstand this? Because Murray is not going to get tired unless he gets frustrated emotionally, which I think he might not.
Yeah. It's nearly an hour a set. Murray to begin the third.
Good team.
When you're playing against Murray, Nadal, or Djokovic, you better be ready physically, because they just seem to get stronger and stronger.
30.
First serve percentage, we'll keep an eye on it, because again, the points won behind second serve for Murray. What was it, 6 from 16? Second set, 8 from 22 overall now. It was a key times. He sort of lost his first serve percentage at the back end of the set, didn't he?
And that slice serve seems to be getting shorter and shorter, which is actually a good thing until Dimitrov starts reading it.
Love game at the start of the third.
First game, third set.
Do you see an extra steal in Dimitrov now? Obviously, he's bordering on the top 10. He's performing better in the majors, and he's a tougher competitor, isn't he?
He's a much tougher competitor, and I think that's all come with working harder off the court, most probably on the court as well, of course, but he's just physically much stronger. He might not look it, but certainly he runs and moves like it. With that comes a better attitude.
Judy Murray courtside, naturally.
Good team.
It is interesting how many parents make the long trip down to Australia these days. Yeah, it's a good time for both players. Dimitrov opening up on that backhand. A good time for both players to release a little tension and go for their shots, as long as they don't fall behind.
40.
It's a very natural reaction for both players after a tight set, is to relax a little bit and go for your shots.
Love game each at the start of the third. New balls coming out.
One game.
With the change in temperatures and how much cooler it's got, the stringers must have been very busy.
I definitely think somebody like Grigor Dimitrov, would change his tension. Some players don't change their tension. It doesn't matter what the temperature is. Okay, Rafael Nadal is always at 25 kilos.
15.
He's been pushed from pillar to post tonight. He's getting a few aches and pains. I think they both are. Just underlines how important it is, whenever you can, to get through quickly, tidily, in straight sets. Done that, Murray, so well into this fourth round. Should it go very long?
The best serve, the best flat serve he's hit for a while, Murray. Another good time to go for a big one, just to relax the shoulder a bit. Or put a little extra juice on the second serve, maybe. Get some confidence in that.
Yeah, having a bit of a lull each year, I think, on the return games. After the rigours of the second set. Murray 2-1, 3 comfortable holds at the start of the third. So Settle, Murray 2-1 up, third set.
There's some bad bounces on these hard courts because obviously they're painted. There's sand in the paint. Way less though on these courts than I've ever seen before. So faster courts than normal.
Would the Aussies have asked for that?
With the likes of Nick Kyrgios, I would have thought so. Leighton Hewitt most probably. Maybe his last Australian Open. Can you please make it as quick as possible? Even though Leighton Hewitt's not a big server, he just likes faster courts.
Such an intense end to that second set. Regrouping, not easy.
Yeah, this is where Murray has a big advantage, having been around for much longer, playing way more big matches, of course. It's so good. And it's perfection here by Dimitrov.
Standing up and unleashing again, Murray. On the baseline for the entire point.
And that's the harder forehand for him to hit the inside out. Rather goes cross court. A little weak over there, Murray. Seems to be struggling a little bit with his left thigh, maybe.
Again, that really early return. Flat and hard. Searching for the break again. Break up second set, remember. Volleyed so well, isn't he?
Sometimes that's a sign of fatigue. When you try and go for a second serve at a crucial moment like this, just didn't get up for it.
He certainly had the tougher route to the fourth round. Still getting a bit of help. Murray looking to keep well away from the forehand, but that was a nothing sort of error.
I think so, sometimes Murray gets stuck in that. He has such good timing, and then he should have spun that forehand a little bit more, but then he just lets it go because he's trusting his timing so much. He can get away with it on the backhand side, but not always on the forehand side.
Oh.
Wow.
Helena Svitolina at the very back of the Murray box there.
She is some player, even though she lost to Serena Williams. Put that name in your memory bank.
Coached by a Brit, Ian Hughes. Maybe the connection for the support.
Not looking for a British passport, are you saying?
It's quite a cue. Wow. Well, these chances, when you think about the second set, that he let slip a little, let Dimitrov back in a little, they're starting to mount up a little for Murray.
It's only 138 kilometers second serve. Murray mistimed the split step a little bit. That's a great play by Dimitrov. If you watch now, Murray takes such a big split step forwards towards the server, and if the server slows down the second serve a little bit, he can mistime it. And that's another second serve at 138 kilometers an hour, and that's the disadvantage by having a big leap forwards.
He's trying to smile it off, these missed opportunities. If he'd made that, can you imagine how many times that would have been replayed?
I mean, he was there for it. I'm not sure. It looked like he could have hit it harder. Very tentative overhead, but here we go. See, Dimitrov trying to sort of lob it back in play.
He took a while to get his grip sorted, Murray, didn't he? Missed it. We're seeing some shots tonight. There's not many left in the book that haven't been used.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable angle by Dimitrov. There's a hard time hitting that second serve, Andy Murray, down the middle of the court in the first, in the deuce court, because he doesn't kick it or put any topspin on his second serve, or very little anyway.
Has he got that up? Has he got that up? There's no way he could get that up.
Oh, I think he got there.
Murray's not happy because he's convinced it was a double bounce. He stopped, looked at Jake Garner, had to carry on. What a point. I'd love to see if he's got it up on a replay.
No, we'll see it. That's for sure. Ah, that bounced twice. Yeah, that's a horrible callback. But a great effort by Dimitrov. Murray won the point before, but he's still not happy about the call.
It's onto the second serve like a flash. Murray's turn for the battle cry. Jake Garner's getting a good old-fashioned look and a word or two. Little tete-a-tete with Murray and Jake Garner. Jake Garner just said, look, I totally believe you. I could see it on the replay. When it happened in real time, I didn't pick it up. But it just got out of the system. Murray just sort of clearing that issue up.
It might have been frustrating at the time, but maybe that can also work in Andy Murray's favor now. Oh.
Well, he got the short ball, Murray, but he didn't flatten it out, did he? This forehand, it gave Dimitrov the chance. Well, he's maintained for 2¼ hours so far, Dimitrov.
Now, this is hard to do. Get Andy Murray to anticipate the wrong way on a regular rally ball. These games are so important in these stages, in these matches, to win your service game easily and put the pressure straight back on your opponent. They don't like to play too much defense, some players today, when they're in that situation. Of course, was it a bigger point, he would have thrown up the lob most probably.
Extra layers in the support camp. It's going down to 12 this evening.
I'm going to feel right at home then. Yes.
Settle, 3-all.
There's just a little bit of, not negative body language, but things going on in Andy Murray's head and body as well right now that he has not been tested in this tournament. Hasn't really been tested all year. Didn't play a tournament leading up to here apart from his exhibition in Abu Dhabi.
Well, it's the 6th straight year here that Murray's dropped 30 or fewer games to this 4th round. He almost stopped on that backhand, Murray.
Big point here.
Big response. 124 out wide, miles per hour.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, please not call home record for the
Looking for the Scot. There he was. Such a good point by Dimitrov. Really mixing it up nicely. He's gone to that short forehand cross-court here a couple of times. And he's feeling something that I wouldn't have picked up, that's for sure.
Wow, what a switch up. Love 15, ace wide. 15-30, T.
30.
That's a great serve, 174 kilometers an hour. You wonder, though, Dimitrov nearly should have put on his thinking cap and said, well, he's not going to go for the flat one out to my backhand again. Surely, that's a low percentage play. Mari is a high percentage kind of player. And there was the high percentage play again by Mari. Slice serve.
40.
Yeah, it's that important.
Just a point here and there.
Well, that's a good game to win. Love 15 and 15-30. Pressure game. Tiring. But he comes through it to lead 4-3 third set. Two hours, 23 minutes so far. One set all. Dimitrov serving 3-4 third set. Not a bad ring. Unlucky. Boy, the physicality of these points. Defense is amazing from the pair of them.
Incredible. This time Murray chose same shot really as the one where he chose to hit a lob in the breaker. This time he went for the big pass. Can't believe he nearly made that volley, Dimitrov.
Ooh, that's close. Yeah, this will be interesting. How did you see it? He's having another pop at Jake Garner about the double bounce.
Is this a skidder? Oh, no.
A few tweets. Dimitrov should have owned up to it. Bad sportsmanship that he didn't. Thanks for your views. That was Nathan Fernandez.
That was on the double bounce and the...
Yeah. He loves his boxing, Murray. He's putting a few decent blows in right now. Doesn't know whether he's coming or going, Dimitrov. Two more break points.
Very challenge.
Big point here, obviously, biggest of the set.
Two good first serves. Wow. 4 of 14.
Just feel like Murray is backing off a little bit on the bigger points when the ball is in play, at least. I'm surprised at how good he's striking his backhand, Dimitrov. And attitude has been great from the young Dimitrov.
You mentioned it's a big movement from Murray, isn't it? It must be easy to take your eye off it, the ball on the serve, and focus on Murray's movement.
You mean for the server?
Yeah, you look preoccupied there, Dimitrov. He'll have another chance to get the break. Two brilliant serves from Dimitrov on the break points in this game. Which way is he going to go this time? Murray breaks. He'll serve for the third set.
Just a little bit too much here, Murray. It's at 15 break points. Sometimes people think Federer was always accused of that. His conversion rate was very low, but when you have 15 break points, eventually you are going to break, and he's broken 5 times. Dimitrov has only had 6. Broken 3, of course, so a better conversion rate, but still only 3 breaks compared to 5.
I would imagine his mother's the only one that calls him Andrew when she's angry.
Is it Andrew? No.
Never been called Andrew as far as I know. It's on his passport. It'll be on his marriage certificate, but
oh, so it is Andrew in his passport. But his wife might call him that too sometimes.
not for a while. I think she's pleased with the ring.
getting away with some rather slow first serves there, Murray.
Two set points now.
40-15.
That was very well played. Smart serving by Andy Murray. Nearly runs into the net here or falls over. Ball has to bounce twice before you can touch the net.
Murray, the initiative again. He has the 2-1 lead. Quicker, safer route to the fourth round could be crucial. Facilities top class. So is this match. The quality has been pretty phenomenal, Matt. I mean, there's been just a couple of dips. Well, they're only human beings, but it's right up there, isn't it? All the qualities out on display.
And it seems like they've sort of dipped at the same time a little bit. There was a lull in that third set at about third or fourth game for both players. They held easily in the beginning, but the fight has been there the whole time. And the attitude has been great. The physical fight is there every single point, it seems. Execution of shots, maybe not perfect all the time, but it's really not what I'm looking for in a tennis match. It's the attitude throughout the match, and then play the big points right and try and take the momentum away from your opponent. That's what tennis is about.
Yeah. Do you fear for Dimitrov now? He's 2-1 behind. Or are you encouraged by what you've seen from his fighting qualities under Roger Rashid to think he's not going anywhere?
I feel that Andy Murray might become slightly tentative again.
Because he's got the lead?
Because he's got the lead, and because we've played for more than 2.5 hours, and he thinks he's stronger than Dimitrov. Most probably is. But is Dimitrov going to be a bit tired? I'm worried that Murray might hope Dimitrov is tired.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous, because even when you're tired, you can play your best tennis, because it makes the choices easier. You can't defend, you can't play long points, and I think that's what Roger Rashid is looking for, is for Dimitrov to not play long points and go for his shots more.
Murray's off the court. He's taken a bathroom break. Here he comes in his battle gear.
Yeah, he's changed his shorts.
Yeah.
Changed his leggings underneath. They were gray before. That's why these players leave the court these days sometimes. You and I in the older generation always say, well, we didn't used to have to go to the bathroom this often, but we didn't sweat as much because we didn't work as hard as these guys.
Thank you.
Some players, of course, have chosen to change even their shorts on court. Just wrap a towel around them.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Good team.
Has a lot of contact with Rashid. It's almost like it's a strength look.
It's come a long way, Grigor. Amazing compared to a couple of years ago, with the help of Roger Rashid.
And he's still only 23. What about Sharapova? How much of an influence do you think she's had on his professionalism and attitude as well?
Oh, I'm sure a lot. especially the attitude on court when you're playing matches. It's fun. It's fun to be flashy and it's fun to play tennis, but really it's about winning. And it's about giving it your all at all times.
He's quite happy to have a good look at the Dimitrov backhand, isn't he?
31.
Have another one. Have another one.
There's just too many topspin backhands in there for Dimitrov. Some of those could be a slice. She looks cold.
She does.
Here's an excellent point by Dimitrov. One of the hardest shots in tennis is when you feel your opponent is going the way that you want to hit the ball.
Love that volley, just that stamping. It's a real statement. Yeah. You felt that frustration in the second set, you know, the fact that he was creating so many chances, but like letting the fish off the hook. It is frustrating. You've got him about an inch from the net. He swims away. Apologies for that. He is a perfectionist. The way he trains his body, the way he focuses in on his diet. So you can understand he gets riled when he knows he's got it there and he doesn't execute. That's what drives him, I guess.
Yeah, I would think so. I'm not sure what happened there, but somewhere when he got into the pros after he won the US Open Juniors, I remember Roger Federer saying that, yeah, he's talented, but he's just not strong enough. And that sort of worked as a switch for Murray, because he just completely did a 360 and changed everything and became the strongest man in tennis, pretty much.
Yeah.
And now he's taking it to another level.
But in that striving for the perfection, he's got to win that battle with himself, disappointed at the mini failure of it.
Yeah, you just got to keep plugging away, a la Novak Djokovic these days. Rafael Nadal, of course. Roger Federer, still not bad at that. Just keep going. It's frustrating when it doesn't work out, but in the long run, it will.
Ready and waiting for that return.
15-15.
Left court side, Murray has done a more uneven split, but on the deuce, it's still overwhelmingly out wide.
On this court, he can go down the middle. Just he doesn't give Dimitrov the angle. Like to see more of that.
Because he does volley really well. Oh boy. It is mind-bending how quick these guys are.
Oh, I cannot believe he tried for that last one, Dimitrov. But like you said, he does volley great, Murray. At some point here, Dimitrov knows he couldn't get that, but why not try? Oh! And he comes back with that. Well done.
He's walking a little slower between points, Dimitrov. Just a little.
And that's what I mean, though. Maybe he was tired from that previous point, so suddenly the choice was very simple. I have to go for the shots. Got to end this point early. And that is the way he can beat Andy Murray. He's not going to out-rally him. And again, forced to issue.
This is terrific resistance from Dimitrov. Got the break, leads 2-love, fourth set.
Wow. It's an excellent first volley. It was a brilliant return. I feel Murray might have gotten too close to the net that time. But these guys hit the ball so hard these days, it is really difficult to react at the net, especially for the singles players who are only there a few times per match.
New balls in play.
Ooh, and Murray struggling with his left wrist there a little bit. I think that impact from Dimitrov's passing shot might have done something.
Left wrist.
I really like that play from Dimitrov, that slice backhand, because Murray cannot generate his own pace, or at least not to hurt Dimitrov. And then Dimitrov has a chance on the next one. It's important that Dimitrov accelerates then. really see this coming, I have to say.
No. I mean, he's sending a great message to the locker room too, isn't he? I am so much tougher as a competitor. Talk a lot more about that, please. Love game to build on the break. 3-love Dimitrov. I wonder how surprised Murray is with this resistance from Dimitrov. Because that could be key, couldn't it?
Definitely. I think he would be quite surprised. I'm sure he knows. I mean, they can see each other in the locker room. Not that they shower together. We do have single stalls these days in the showers. Different when you and I played, Chris.
Yes. Bit of luck always helps.
But you can see in somebody who's worked really hard, you can see in their body, you can see the muscle tone, and certainly you can see how hard they're working. They're being stretched out more often, and they're in the gym, and these guys go to the gym every day. So, but still, I don't think he realized, I can't imagine he thought there was such resistance there.
Again, that defense defies belief.
That's amazing. I mean, he hardly gets any part of the ball. Certainly took Andy Meyer by surprise.
Challenging.
Dimitrov has 2 challenges.
It's a good forehand, but Murray stepped it up a little bit. Letting it fly a little bit here, Murray. Save some energy.
On the scoreboard, 4th set.
Dimitrov leads 3-1. Net for 6.
It would be really fun to have a microphone on these players.
You'd have to have a pretty efficient bleep machine.
Exactly. Apart from that, it would be.
Yeah, it would.
Because That's a tentative shot by Murray, that backhand down the line. When he misses it wide, interesting what he thinks about it. There's probably a bit of lead tape that's coming off. That sometimes happens. They weigh the rackets. You better fix it quick, because you don't want to have that to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeps telling himself, Murray, stay in the rally. Did so brilliantly. There's not many that could have stayed in it as well as that.
So good. The little last shot was, but that slice backhand that set this volley up was the one. This is the easy one right here. Helps to have two hands that time.
Problem is, when you tell yourself to stay in the rally, do you then become too passive?
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, if he's dominating, staying in the rally is a great call, but once you've got the opportunity,
you got to go for it. Dimitrov is too good a player. Too many options he has.
He's betwixt and between at the moment, Murray. Dimitrov extends his lead, 4-1, fourth set. The fifth set beckons. So a sea change again here in this fourth round. Murray 1-4. Fourth set, he just looks a little undecided tactically right now. Dimitrov has looked to be aggressive from the very first ball. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant from the pair of them again.
That's instinctive tennis at its very best. This little drop shot here is beautiful, but no problem for Murray. A little flick, two-handed, half volley backhand though by Andy Murray. Great hands. A little more aggressive suddenly though, Andy Murray in that rally.
40.
Love game. More important than that, surely, is the message about the extra aggression. But it's going to be interesting, isn't it? This game now, What does he do?
Well, if he gets a chance on a second serve, you would think he steps in a little bit, especially if he comes to his backhand. That's really well played by Dimitrov.
His forehand cross-court is amazing, isn't it? He sweeps it away.
Yeah, he sort of hooks it, hits the ball on the outside of the ball.
Unlucky.
30.
No, it's a good play, though. I really like that he did that at 30 love, because suddenly Mari's going to be wondering what on earth is he going to do next. So if Dimitrov hits a deep slice again, Mari's going to have to drive that ball a little bit, because Dimitrov could be standing at the net.
The lead is coming off, you're right.
Must have another racket, surely.
Yeah. How good is that?
Unbelievable. Here he goes, switching the rackets,
Yeah.
but what a lob.
Must be pretty head heavy, that racket. Through the hit. Gathers momentum, doesn't it?
Interesting, he's not going for a new, freshly strung. You can see that Wilson's stencil in there is worn. Yeah, there you go.
Good spot.
Oh, that's so good.
It was that good that whether it's a big point or not, you've just got to enjoy it.
The timing on, the timing on this lob is sort of a half volley, and you could feel it. As soon as he hit that, he could feel it.
His heart sunk straight away, didn't it? Good response again.
Wow.
Different animal, Grigor Dimitrov, that's for sure. Roger Rashid needs to stretch his legs. 5-2 fourth set. Couple of minutes from midnight. One of them's going to turn into the winner. There could be a while to go.
Very hard to call right now. Dimitrov clearly the better player in the last 15 minutes.
Murray 2-5 fourth set, serving to stay in it. Looks full of energy, Dimitrov. That forehand is really hurting Murray. He's very aware of the time he's been on court too, Murray. 3 hours plus now.
Really important for Murray to hold here. Should he lose this set, you want to start to serve in the 5th set.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, please.
It's a good second serve. He went for that a little more, Murray. Still a slice, but a lot of spin.
Well, if the backhand starts firing as well as in that rally, Murray is in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, that was a little extra pace. Great acceleration. Unlucky here for Murray, because that would have been an impossible volley nearly for Dimitrov.
It's ridiculous. Is that a disbelieving look at what's coming back and how deep it is?
Well, he certainly felt that ball was long, but Dimitrov playing great tennis right now.
Dimitrov was challenging the call on the right first set, and the ball was called in.
He's pretty sure too. He is so inspired right now, Dimitrov. This is how he started the match. He looks as fresh as the first 3 games.
A really important game there suddenly for Andy Murray, because momentum is so clearly with Dimitrov right now.
Set point to take us to a decider.
Dimitrov struggling down there in that corner physically, and he's sort of trying to blame. It looks like he's just not strong enough anymore in his thighs.
Yeah.
His legs are giving away.
So they're going to replay the point. Does Murray challenge? A shocking day at the office, Murray says. Well, Murray's got a challenge. He's challenging. He has to challenge. So the ball was called out. Jake Garner has overruled and said it was in. So now Murray's challenged.
Of course he would.
And it's in.
Replay the point. Murray has 2 chances.
Be a great call by umpire Garner.
His day at the office has got a whole lot better.
Advantage, Murray.
Murray holds. He asks the serve it out question of Dimitrov.
Dimitrov leads 5 games to 0.
Couple of big points early on in this game now coming up.
Ran round his forehand then, Murray, to hit a backhand.
Yeah, a little tentative that return, but he might have been jammed by the second serve. It was right at the body.
Next first serve.
Made so sure of that backhand, Murray.
15 all.
Just for a second, I feared for him.
He's so good at this, though. Dipping the first passing shot low, making them volley again, and then coming up for the short volley. And then just flicking with both hands. He can go anywhere, really.
That was really interesting because he gave Dimitrov the wide serve and then skim it over there on the ball toss. He suckered him in there. Gambled on him going there. Missed it.
15-14.
It's great defense by Murray, you have to say. It's really sharp suddenly. You can see it in his eyes, actually.
The scoreboard sharpens the senses. Still break point. Murray breaks back. hangs into this fourth set. It's 4-5. So 3 hours 19. Murray survives. Serving to stay in this fourth set. 4-5.
What a great point by Murray. Really dictating from the first stroke in that rally. Intensity level has gone way up for Murray.
Thank you. Please.
Clever play again by Murray.
30-30.
Oh, that was a crazy drop shot, but great anticipation by Dimitrov here. Of course, Murray was there as well.
He didn't have a whole lot of choice there, Dimitrov. What a wonderful second serve, too. It's 5-all, fourth set.
Really good. I mean, really the level has gone way up suddenly, out of nowhere, really. This is a beautiful little shot by Andy Murray. So much topspin on it.
So cool at that stage to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, here we go. This is more topspin than you would think Andy Murray could put on that backhand. That's because of the grip with the right hand.
He wins that game every time. Once that little dink is played, nightmare to deal with.
You really don't have any options. You know he's coming forwards after it because he knows you can't do anything except drop it short. Careful here, Dimitrov. Just maybe slow down a little bit.
Called out, corrected.
Whoa, this is going to be interesting.
This is big. Is Murray going to concede, though? This is going to be interesting.
One umpire called fault and then corrected or called.
Oh, he's certainly not.
The one umpire called fault and then corrected or called.
Did it impede Murray? Accepted it.
I think the call was pretty quickly made. I don't think he could have got the ball back in play, but
what a huge difference it's made now.
That was a bad call the other way before when the ball bounced twice with Dimitrov.
Absolutely.
And Murray won that point. Just because Dimitrov doesn't win this point, he deserved to. It's all level now.
Well, from looking like a fifth set, look at the scoreboard now. In a blink of an eye.
Well, the level that Murray is playing at the moment, I mean, literally not making one single mistake here in the last 4 games.
And he's won them all. Look at that reaction from Dimitrov, demolishing his racket. Wow. Murray will serve for the quarterfinals.
Murray leads 6-5.
All his frustration vented on the racket. He obviously got a violation for it. Extraordinary last 4 games. Andy Murray serving for a place in the quarterfinals with new balls. 6-5, 4th set.
Right, please. Thank you.
I mean, what a turnaround. Amazing difference. Although you would have to think that if Murray could do this in the end of the 4th set, in this set, he would have done it in the 5th set anyway. Just another level suddenly. Just a little sloppy, Dimitrov.
He's finally broken his spirit. 2 points from it. Fabulous. Wow.
Please. Right, please. Right, please.
Oh, the guts it takes from Dimitrov to go for those two forehands. I mean, he's got nothing to lose, but he does, because he was up a break serving for the fourth set.
Murray's first serve again, crucial. Oh. Meaty, 203 Ks. 126 down the middle. Dimitrov surely was waiting for the slider. Match point.
Thank you. Please.
Stroke of luck to win it. What a way to finish such a high-quality match. It's a sixth quarter-final here in a row for Murray. His 16th in a major in a row. He finally beats Dimitrov in 3 hours, 32 minutes.
That's really, really high level of tennis throughout the 4 sets. I cannot believe that end. That's really unfortunate in one way, but Murray was the better player. Had 19 break points through that match. That must never be forgotten. Dimitrov